The final work of destruction. The final work of destruction will be caused by people's own will. Nevertheless, I shall not hamper this will. Firstly, because it is free and shall also have to justify itself, and secondly, because I based my plan of salvation on this free will in a way that it will benefit the continued development of the spiritual beings. I truly do not determine people's wrong inclinations and actions, I only let them have absolute freedom, which they, however, misuse by interfering in the laws of nature, by experimenting with forces which they cannot fully control as yet and whose effects they therefore don't know. But it is their fault that they conduct experiments for the wrong reasons, that they are not motivated by thoughts of love to carry out their intentions, and for this reason their guilt will have such terrible consequences. For it will result in an act of destruction to which everything living in, on and above the earth will fall prey. For although the planet as such will remain, the entire surface of Earth will nevertheless become changed, and that will also mean the destruction of all life and all works of creation on this earth which constrain spiritual substances. And thus, these spirits will receive their freedom for the time being. They will be able to escape from their form regardless of the degree of maturity they had reached. But they will not keep this freedom, for they will have to continue their path of development and therefore will be placed into new forms. And in order to make it possible for the spiritual substances still bound in the creations to continue with their development, I shall allow the wrong will of people who will cause this work of destruction, but the human race itself will perish as a result of this wrong will, for only my own will survive the final destruction, and there will only be a few. The majority of people, however, are already so distant from me that their spiritual fate is already decided, for they have reached the lowest point which excludes further development on this earth. On account of their profane state they will give rise to the end of the old earth, and thus it will come to pass as people want it themselves. Everything will be changed, yet only in line with my eternal law of order. People will indeed initiate it, yet I myself will determine or direct the consequences according to my eternal plan of salvation, which was based on people's wrong will, so that all wrong thinking shall nevertheless still yield right results. For I will direct the consequences according to my will. Admittedly it doesn't correspond to people's will, but it serves the spirit's continued development. And that is my plan, of which I inform you time and again, so that each one of you can shape himself according to this plan while there is still time, for each one of you can still belong to those who will be saved at the end. Each person can still shape his nature such that he will belong to my own. But he must believe and live a life of love, he must turn his will to me, and I will accept him and grant him the strength to achieve the work of transformation on himself. Then he need not fear the end either, regardless of how threatening world events seem to evolve. I protect my own in every adversity and danger, I help them in an earthly and spiritual way, for my own shall become strong in faith and therefore noticeably experience my help. And time and again I announce this to you humans so that you can prepare yourselves if only you are of good will to live in order to please me, for the end will come without fail because the time granted to you is over. Amen.